Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mackenzie Woodwork. So our project today is building a birdhouse, but it's a bandsaw birdhouse. So it gives you a great opportunity to use your bits and pieces and scraps. So here I am up in the pear tree, and as you can see, I've pulled it out. So it's a unit that you can pull out and hang on a branch. And so after the season's over, you can clean up the nest and birds like these birdhouses because they're placed within the trees and stuff, which is their natural environment. So there's one there placed on a branch. You can see, and they're if you're new to bandsawing, this isn't a very overcomplicated project. So follow along, and I'll walk you through the process. So you can see I'm marking out my wood. I've got one there on the right hand side that's already been marked out, but I've put some painter's tape on this one to show you how I lay them out. The first thing you need to do is put a vertical line. So these blocks I'm using are 6 inches wide by 9 inches tall, and I've used 5 pieces of 3/4 inch cedar. And so what I'm doing is just drawing my maximum circle. You can find center line, and then just use the compass to draw whatever the maximum circle is. So if you're 5 1/4 or 5 1/2, that would be the size of your circle. And once you have the circle at the bottom, then what I do is just draw a freehand mark from the top down to the side. And this will be for the hanger on top, so that it can hang onto a branch. And then you want to bring that circle all the way around the top, all the way to return to the center line again. It's important that you make that mark at the center, because that will allow it to hang on a branch and not to be off to one side or anything. It'll give you a point of balance. So that's what the center mark is for. You see, I've just freehand this. I do have patterns. Once you come up with a design that you like, just put it on a 1/4 inch piece of hardboard or plywood or something, if you plan on building a lot of these. But I just thought I'd show you the process of doing it freehand. And it's not that complicated of a pattern. And if you're looking for pieces of cedar, if you don't have a lot in your shop, you can also do this out of pine or whatever you have kicking around. When you laminate these blocks together, though, you want to make sure that you use exterior glue, because they will be out in the weather and you don't want them to delaminate. So I'm just following the compass mark all the way along, and I've done this with a Sharpie. Basically just to show you guys at home the marks. So there it is there. As you can see, the balance point will be right through the center. So what we do is we cut out our outside form first, and because they are bandsaw blocks, and then we cut out the back portion. So here I am at the bandsaw, and I explained to you that you want 2 flat surfaces to be 90 degrees. You want the face down and the side. That has to be 90. So what you want to do is check that up against your blade. I've checked that block with the top face and the side, and that's 90. And whenever you do that, just lay it on your bandsaw to make sure that your blade is 90 degrees to it. If it's not, you may have a problem getting out the plug in the center. So I'll just go ahead and cut this and let you watch me cutting it out. Forgot to turn on my dust collector. There it is. I'm using a 1/4 inch blade. And depending on the the size of the blade that you're using, you're going to want to check your radius. So it doesn't matter too much if the very top here is a little bit bigger. If you can't, if you don't have the capability of turning this on your bandsaw because you have a bigger blade, just make the top of it a bit bigger. And I'll just bring it right into that center mark and then stop there. And then I'll pull the blade backwards and then start from the bottom again. And then I'll take out that waste portion. You can see my laminations now. A good place to pick up pieces like this, if you're looking for pieces of cedar stuff, just go to a new construction site. Usually there's people building fences at new construction sites, and just ask them if they wouldn't mind if you picked up a bunch of cedar. And most of them are happy to do it because they're having to clean up the site and take them to the landfill. So this is a great end-use project, you know, waste not, want not sort of thing. So I'm just going to follow all the way along, and what we're trying to do is get the outside form cut out. And once that's done, then we can progress on the rest of them. If you enjoy these videos, please think about subscribing, and you can always buy me a coffee if you're enjoying the entertainment. So let's get back to our show. So here it is here, and what I'm showing you is the one that we drew the pattern on, and the main board that we have. And I explain to you again that has to be square. So this is an important thing. Don't cut with the round on the bottom. It has to be flat. So whenever you're cutting these boxes out, you've got to make sure that they're down this way, because the blade is pulling down and you don't want it to jar it. If you're up the other way and it was round, it would jump into your hands. So make sure that you're always cutting with a good steady surface on the table of the bandsaw. I'm wanting to make this birdhouse very organic looking, so I'll be putting a big curve on the outside. Usually on a bandsaw box, I'll go with only an 1/8 of an inch or 3/16 back. I'll cut off, and then I'll be glued on because it's a finer piece of work. On a birdhouse, I'm wanting to sand that off on the edge to make it more rounded on the side. So I'm going to be taking off more. I'll be taking off about 5/8 of an inch off the back. So I'll be setting on my saw and cutting off that 5/8. You can see the mark that I've got there. So I'll be cutting that off and gluing that back on. Just set up my fence. If you notice, I've got the flat portion down on the deck of the bandsaw, so I'm able to have good control and good purchase on the wood while it's going through the blade. And you want to use a push stick. You don't want to get in there with your fingers. So there's the back cut off. And you just put that off to one side. And now what we'll do is measure out the core. And the core will be about 3/8 of an inch all the way around the inside. So I'll just make a mark like this all the way along. And when I get to the bottom, I want to go square. I'm not going to follow around. And what that'll do is whenever the inside of the box goes in, it'll sit down square in the bottom. It won't turn or rock around. And that bottom horizontal line will go right through to the outside of the blank, and that's where we'll bring our blade into. So our blade will come in on that plane flat and then go around, and then we'll stop it and back it out and then pull the plug out. So I'll just continue to the cut here and show you. So as you can see the saw mark there where it went in straight, and we followed that flat mark, and I'll just bring it all the way around. And this will be the same as the back. If it was a more of a detailed piece, I wouldn't have as large as a 3/8 along the side. I'd do a little finer, but I'm wanting to round it off. I said in keeping with the sense that it's going to look organic in the tree. So we'll just go all the way around and cut the core out. And there it is there. And if your bandsaw table wasn't square to the blade, you wouldn't be able to push this all the way through. But you can see it can go all the way through. And what this tells you is that the blade and the box is square. And that's what you want. You always want to make sure that everything is parallel and 90 degrees to your box. So. And now we've got the core that we're going to cut the back off of. So I've set that up and cut the back off the core, front and back. And we made a scallop out of the core as well. So here's all the components. So the first thing we need to do is spread the joint apart. And what I do is just put a couple of popsicle sticks in there, spread it apart. And what we use is some super glue on that. Super glue is a good thing to use because it's waterproof and it dries fast so that we can get in and continue on with our work. So I'm just using a toothpick, works good. You don't need a lot. The thing I'm more worried about is the outside edges. So whenever you do your sanding, so just coat that. And I'm using a medium. So if you're going to pick up some super glue for this project,
popsicle sticks,
medium is a good way to go. You don't need the gel, the thick. Medium works great. And this is the core that's been scalloped out. You can see I've made a U in it, and I've got the ends on, and that just drops in nicely. You see it goes right through. So this is just to make it smooth. Put the back on. See that I'm putting a really soft edge all the way around, right along the bottom, and I've drilled a hole for the entrance for the net there, and that's an 1.25 inch hole. And then I just went out to the pear tree and cut a branch off and fastened that below it as a perch. And hand sanded it all, so it's all hand sanded, and now we'll just give it a coat of oil and wax. And in the back of it, we need some ventilation holes. So, and there I am. So this is a combination of oil and wax, which if you follow around in my videos, you can see that it's a 25% paraffin wax and the rest mineral oil. And you don't want to do the inside of the birdhouse, just the outside. And that's how they'll hang there on a branch. You see the ventilation holes in the back. Well, I hope you enjoyed this project, and there it is there, all hanging on a branch. And follow along for other videos. And if you liked it, please let us know. Or if you have an idea for any other projects, let us know that as well. Thanks again.